Welcome everybody to this bright and sunny morning. We're going to be watching Starship, and my dog just, as I started talking, she's like, "What about me?" I I got up early and earlier than usual, and I'm the only one up right now, and she's like, "Talk to me." So she's in the room with me, and what do you think? Anyway, you can go down there. So she started like pawing at my leg when I started talking. Like I'm talking to her, but I'm not. Sorry. Anyway, we're gonna watch the Starship launch. So let's get up here. So it's supposed to. It was originally gonna be 7. I think they moved it a bit, but they said there's a 110-minute launch window starting at 7. So sorry, I got stuff in my eye there. Okay. So hopefully they go in the earlier portion of it. What we're seeing here, this is SpaceX's their own launch, their own video. But I think this is important here. Flatty McFlatface says, so many flirfs in the many live streams saying the usual BS. And you know, flirfs are why we can't have good stuff, right? Because this is cool. Flat Earth is just a joke. Flat Earthers are ridiculous. They're a bunch of losers that do nothing, while the people that are doing stuff are sending rockets to space. They're sitting in their Discord servers talking about whether or not refraction, angular resolution can make something disappear at all, which it doesn't. And, you know, people are sending rockets to space. So that's why we can't have nice stuff. So this countdown here is not, that you're seeing, is not isn't that 2 minutes and 30. That's not to the launch. That's to the beginning of their live stream. So over here we've got Everyday Astronaut and Tim Dodd. Oh, I'm covering him up. I don't want to cover him up. I'll have to move. I'll move that. So Tim Dodd is has a YouTube channel, big channel with 1.5 million subscribers, and he's doing a live stream covering it, and he has a little more than I do watching live. He has 87,000 people watching live on his. So I do appreciate very much the 119 that are currently watching here. He covers this all the time. I don't, so I wouldn't expect the same numbers as he does. I'm happy that you guys are here at all, but to watch this, I hope that this is a little different than Tim in his coverage. I don't know if he can interact much with you guys, with his people, but I can interact with you. Like Neriel's audiobooks. Is that who I think it is? And then and I've there you go, fix the scroll. So we've already got Icy Spin, who said for $2 early bird gets the worm. Actually $1.99, telling me that might be on an iPhone. Are you on an iPhone? Did I get that right? Apple rounds down 1 penny. So, anyway, Clive Wells, Toon's audience is quality, not quantity. Hey, the quantity is great. You know, I watched the live chat from like Tim Dodd, and it's too much. Here, I'll show you the chat. It goes too fast. Well, now it's not going at all. Where to go there? When there's that many people, you can't keep up. so I can keep up a little better. So there you go. FTFE Craig is here. He says SpaceX funded by the blue tick flurfs on X. Love it. Greg, if you want, I got a spot for you if you want to join. So when is it going to be starting? Not certain yet. All right, let's listen in on this live stream here a little bit.
If all goes well, we hope to see our Starship spacecraft and Super Heavy booster, which we collectively call Starship, lift off together successfully in 30 minutes. Today, everyone on the SpaceX team believes so strongly in our success that shortly afterward, Elon Musk will give a speech that he says will change your life.
Change your life.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kate Tice, Quality Systems Engineering Manager here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California.
And I'm Shiva Bharadwaj, a space operations engineer.
Okay, awesome. So there's 32 minutes to launch time. Icy Spin says Nancy confirmed the firmament exhaust switch was causing issues. You gotta, yeah. So the other problem, of course, is they need to nail the window in the firmament that they're having NASA open. So you can't just launch. You gotta coordinate to open up the window in the firmament. And you need to make sure the water is sloshed to the side so that the water doesn't shoot in from the waters above the firmament. Yes, Nuriel's audiobooks is the person I thought it was. Hello, Nuriel. Anyway, so yeah, I got to make sure, because all that timing is you think it's complicated to do stuff on the ground, but you got to get that firmament window open. And that's just not easy. Dave McKeegan says for $2, hope they don't break the firmament. No kidding. Can you imagine the leak? Right? They would have to send up some people to patch it again. I mean, they learned that the hard way before, but anyway. That's so good. Have they checked the baffles for giant rats? Flighties are so dumb. They see that chunk of frozen oxygen, and they're like, it's a rat, it's a mouse. Like, you have no clue how big that is. But if they were faking it all, why would they even have a something like that? Like, how do you think they're faking it? Is the background fake, or is it actually going up? I mean, what do you think they're doing that you think that a mouse could accidentally be on there? What kind of an idiot would actually think that's a thing? It really does boggle. I got to turn off a couple things here. Boggle the mind to the things that they go through to think that is something that actually happened. The thousands of people that watch these launches live every time, and for them to think, oh yeah, that part was faked. You can watch the rocket. All right, here is back to Tim Dodd, Everyday Astronaut. So let's see. Okay, now he has T-minus 1 hour and 7 minutes, and here we have 29 minutes. So I don't know what he's, this one is from SpaceX, and this is Tim Dodd. So launch window is 7 a.m. to 8:50. I don't know which that is. Anyway, heaps of idiots is what Andrew Dubinin says. So this is funny. Witsit challenged me 2 weeks ago to a debate on celestial navigation, and then didn't answer when I'm like trying to get him to talk about it. And so I sent an email yesterday to James at Modern Day Debate with the screenshot of Witsit challenging me to a debate, and then Witsit responded So I'll show you that. I'll show you that quick. So let me get I'll get the challenge and the runaway. So here is here's what he said in this. It was an after show on Matters Now. He said, unfortunately for all the Globers, we've actually completely mapped out celestial navigation. Very bold. We've completely mapped out celestial navigation and all the exact math that works and matches reality perfectly. That is a huge claim. Huge claim. Yet, I've not received any submission from him or any of the people that are his friends doing celestial navigation to claim the challenge. Not a single email, and that's the submission method. Maybe they've talked about it on some live stream, but there's, I don't know which live stream they might have done it on. So, I mean, that's some good money for an unemployed person. Anyway, matches reality perfectly on the entire Earth at any location, including any position of the stars, the sun, and or moon, based on your geographic position. Huge claim. So it's going to be a rough couple next weeks. This was a couple weeks ago. And following year for you guys, because we literally have all the exact perfect math to explain all of it. So that's what he said. Those are the words that he said in the live stream. He can't unsay those words. Then, not long later, this is 1:52 a.m. Central Time, he said, so are you willing to set up a debate about celestial navigation working on flat Earth? I'm like, absolutely. I'll give you the star angle measurements. You show the process of getting the position without using the globe. Right? And then look at that. He says, prediction, the Globers will all run and hide from satellite GPS and celestial navigation arguments. I already accepted the challenge. I'm not running and hiding. 157, he says, your whole little game there is just that you say we cannot use the map, my guy. You don't need to use a map to do celestial navigation. I don't use a map to do it. Do you want to specifically debate the 1 degree per 69 miles working on flat Earth? No, Witsit. I want to debate celestial navigation and all the exact math that works and matches reality perfectly on the entire Earth at any location, including any position of the stars, sun, and or moon based on your geographic position. That's what I want to debate. Now you'll notice here, right, this is him challenging me to debate. That's what this is. This is very clearly him challenging me to debate. So I sent an email to James at Modern Day Debate. Let me get here it is. I included the screenshot there. And then, hey, Austin's anxious to debate me on celestial navigation. Screenshot included. Here's the format. And it's really easy to debate celestial navigation. Here are some star angle measurements. The things that you input into the celestial navigation process. And so I said, present star angle measurements from a sextant. 2 minutes. That's all it'll take. Then give that to Witsit, and then Witsit does show the process of getting a position fixed using flat Earth. Simple. 5 to 30 minutes, however long it takes him. And then we switch it. He gives me some star angle measurements, and I show the process. And then open discussion and Q&A. Right? To make it more streamlined, I'll provide the year of the sextant sighting so that flat Earth star chart can be obtained for that year. Same for mine, please, Austin. How about Thursday next week? And James is like, okay. Hey, Witsit, are you indeed interested in debating your brother? James always calls me brother and cousin or whoever to the flatties. If so, Thursday, March 21 is open. And then Witsit comes back with this wall of text, which I'm not going to read right now. You can screenshot that if you want. But now he's saying that he wanted to. He said, I messaged him in chat asking if he would be open to debate on celestial navigation only because one of my friends said he wanted to debate him about it. Really? Does this look like I want you to debate somebody else? No. Right, so within a minute of him issuing the challenge to me, I said, yeah, I will give you star angle measurements. You show the process of getting the position without using the globe. And so I was at 53. At 57, a mere 4 minutes later, he doesn't say, oh no, I didn't mean me. I meant somebody else. How bold of Witsit, who debates all the time, to challenge me to debate somebody else. So brave. So brave, Witsit. Anyway, there it is. I posted all this on Facebook if you're interested, to go watch Witsit run. Witsit has to run from this. There's no question. Because he realized, oh crap, I don't actually have. He knows that he doesn't actually have the math. He can't do anything. So anyway, thank you, Witsit, for showing your cowardice. I'll leave that for now, and go back to the fun. There's 22 minutes. Here we have on SpaceX, and still an hour, according to Tim Dodd. So I don't know if this is the same. It can't be the same live view, because this is, so it's dark. I'm in the same time zone as Texas. It's not bright outside right now. And so I don't think this is this is just, I don't know. I don't know which is which. This, like, it makes me feel like maybe this is, even though it says it's live with Tim Dodd, that this might be a delay. Oh no, Starbase Texas, 7:02 a.m. Yep, that's correct. Okay, so this is live. But see, it looks dark there. No, it's not dark here. Let's listen to this guy.
We're currently loading propellant from the ground system into both the first and second stages. Now, both vehicles use the same two propellants. That commonality helps build the reliability. And the fuel today is liquid methane, and that's at a temperature of just over 100 kelvins. That's about minus 272 degrees below zero on the Fahrenheit scale. Now, liquid methane is a different fuel from Falcon 9. That booster uses RP1.
Chicken Nuggle says the SpaceX stream is a fake one. Yeah, this very well could be a non-live view, where this one is. So I think that this camera is an amateur camera, not SpaceX's camera. Hold on. Nope. All right. Got a bug. There's a bug right up there. I was gonna grab. So all right, let's see what people are saying here. Oh, it's a fake SpaceX stream. 300,000 subscribers. Well, let's look here. Yeah, people take over. Let's look here. People take over these. Yep. You're right. You're right. That is a fake one. All right. Well, thank you for that. Those are the fake ones are very good. So, and I got that from I got that one from, I don't remember where I got that one from. So, okay, I will I'll pull up this one here. Starting at 7, there it is. Okay, so here. This is the real one on SpaceX.com. We go watch. This is starting at 7:37 a.m. So we have a few minutes before it starts. So, okay, so that's correct. Thank you for that, people. Yeah, Ace SW says, imagine a company that's great at doing science experiments where no one can having all that money going into technology, but all they do is bad CGI. Yes. Like, if they're gonna fake a video, Why would they wouldn't need to fake it live. They could make it ahead of time and just press play. So, and the amount of people that would, in the funding and, all of the stuff that they would have to do to fake it, they're not going to have a mouse accidentally running around on a fairing. How could that even happen? It makes zero sense. New liftoff time is 8:02 Central. That does sound about right. We've got did I see F's Up World is here. That's Joe Hill. How you doing, Joe? He says he's quoting Lucifer. He says, I will ascend into heaven. NASA, I will ascend into heaven. Elon Musk, hold my beer. I don't think NASA is saying I will ascend into heaven. They're going to go into space. So it's a false equivalency. Space is not heaven. So, I mean, you might think that, but I don't think NASA does. So I don't think so. Let's do this just for you, Joe. I'll do a poll. Who is let's see. Does space equal to heaven? There you go. I know Joel will probably answer yes, but everybody else, what will you answer? Okay, so I asked Craig to join. Craig said can't join, busy running real-time CGI for Elon. Good job. Yeah, good job. No mice this time. Heaps of idiots. Heaps of idiots in the live streams. That's the problem. Like, if they're like, how come you guys are so mean to us? And how come this is in like Facebook groups? We're just here trying to do, and we're like, no, you're not, because you're out in SpaceX live streams, proselytizing your derpy religion of denialism. If you just, shut up and sat in your echo chambers and didn't try to go out and proselytize, then that'd be fine. Nobody would be showing up in your echo chambers saying, you're a bunch of idiots, you're lying about stuff. But if you're going to do that, if you're going to stick your head out and start making those kinds of claims, well, guess what? We're gonna poke at you. You deserve it. The industrial nerd. When are we gonna get morning debates? Oh my gosh. I mean, I've tried to schedule some, but they fell through. But I would do morning debates. So okay, let's see. We got Icy Spin. Craig, don't forget firmware update super cloud gen. Joe Whip says up early. Yes, I am. I had to set my alarm for a time that my alarm did. My alarm's like, what are you doing? This is not right. Let's see. Timbo Turtle says, sounds like the math works if you look up your latitude, longitude first step. Well, that's the thing. You think about like when Flatzoid's claim. So Flatzoid actually claims that you do triangulation. He says you actually do the triangulation. But in order to do the triangulation, you have to have 3 parts of the 6 parts of a triangle known. And it has to be the right 3. You can't solve a triangle with only the angles because you don't know the sides. You can do it with all the sides. And then you cannot do it with angle side because it gives 2 answers. But if you know a little bit more about it, is it an acute triangle or an obtuse triangle, then you can solve it. So you need one more piece of information, at putting it the total pieces of information input it to 7. So total slots to fill, total variables to 7, and you need 4 in that instance, if it's angle side. but flatties can't solve a triangle. But Flatzoid says that it is triangulation, but the problem is that he doesn't know the height. He says it's just optical, he says. Wait a second. No, not his merch. You're going to get my merch. You got to get... All right, hold on. Tim, I love you, guy, but you're advertising your merch, not mine. I switched to Fourth Wall from Teespring. I did not like Teespring. Quality of t-shirts, they went down. The ink would come off. So I'm trying Fourth Wall. I designed a mug. If you want to get that, I think Joe Whip, did you order that? Man, Tim's got a lot of merch. So much merch. All right, nothing there. Go ahead, Tim. You do fine. You're good. Okay, what was I? Oh, Flatzoid. So Flatzoid's triangle stuff that he says. He says, well, then the height is just optical. So the height part then doesn't get used. So, but you need to know that, right? If you're going to solve the triangle, and you're like, well, how far am I from the GP of the star, right? Well, you measure the angle from your position, and you know the angle at the GP is 90, but you don't know the height. So you cannot solve the triangle. You don't know how far you are from the GP. That's the point of what you're trying to do, is to get the distance between you and the GP of the star. When you're doing real celestial navigation, you're not doing a triangle. You use a different method to get that distance. You're only measuring one angle. It's an angle, not a triangle. But Flatzoid you can't give Flatzoid an angle and a star and find out the distance to the GP, because like you said, you have to first step put up your lat long. No, that's what you output. They don't even get that. So dumb. All right, Icy Spins says, funny how flirts never show the evidence parties. Never show for the evidence parties. Yes, this is an evidence party. I actually messaged Jaron last night, and I said, hey, if you want, you can watch it. I didn't, I'll ask him. It's early. It's 5:15 a.m. for him. I want to join to watch live. It launches at 6 a.m. your time. So, my guess is he's asleep. I wouldn't expect him to care enough about this. So, Icy Spin, you've been watching Ozian's stream on Witsit yesterday. It was hilarious where Oakley went full rage mode on him. I love Oakley and the Oakley and Witsit battle, the war. Somebody was asking a while ago, a couple days ago. Let me see if I can read that. Oh, anyway, no, I don't remember. It was too far back. So it was somebody reminiscing about the war between Iran and Iraq in the 80s, and you're like, I don't know who to cheer for, Iran or Iraq in the 80s. And I'm like, oh, you don't cheer for either of them. You cheer for the war. So is it okay then to cheer for the war between Oakley and Witsit? Yes, cheer for the war. That's who I'm backing. I hope that the war wins. Okay. Anyway, okay, let's see. I saw a kid making a Rubik's Cube challenge for you till they can't even begin to comprehend how any human could be. He solves 3 cubes within, I'm pretty sure, about 3.5 minutes, juggling them. Yes, I've seen that kid juggle. And what's really amazing is that he catches it in one hand, and he has to throw it so that it lands in his hand the right way, I think. Now he might be able to just catch it, see how he catches it, and then determine quickly whether or not his hand is positioned correctly to turn it. But when you're holding it, you can turn it this way or this way in a quick amount of time, right? But you can't like quickly turn it rotate the whole cube and then do that. So it's catch it, throw it. Catch it, twist it, throw it. That's what he has to do. And I've watched him, and he does solve, I think, just one at a time, which is all I could do. with single hand. I've tried solving it just by holding it in one hand, and I'm not very good. I haven't practiced it much, but and of course, okay, so there's two ways. You could do it this way, where you pull it towards you, or you could push it away from you. That's harder to do because you have to get around the backside there. I don't know. All right, let's see. Nothing there. 7:37. Yeah, we still have some time before they're supposed to start. Okay. Oh, it jumped. It jumped again. Let's see. Yeah, all right. Cocaine Flatty says you gotta make the debate easier for him. Bait him to showing up. I can't. No, I'm not gonna do that. I don't need to. We've already done 2 debates where we had a Flatty come that agreed to do celestial navigation and then live in front of people failed to do celestial navigation. How embarrassing. Hip Hop Hippie and John Refracted Curvature. Both of them, when given the opportunity to do celestial navigation live that they agreed to, didn't do it. So that's why I structured it that way with Witsit. Witsit said the most aggressively pompous chest puffery ever said about celestial navigation by a Flatty. And I'm like, I'm jumping on that. So if he can't back that up, it's obvious that he's lying, and that will never go away, Witsit. You can't unsay that. So I'm just gonna rely on his puffery. He said those things. Let's see it. Let's see you do it. So anybody that ever debates him, here's my question, my offer to you. Have him do celestial navigation. Just say, all right, I'll debate you. You're going to do celestial navigation based on this statement. Right? Everybody, just say, it doesn't matter who you are. He won't do it. So if you're not a debater and you're like, well, this is he wants to debate me. Yeah, come talk to me. I'll help. I'll give you the numbers. I'll give you the measurements for him. He won't do it. He knows he can't. He knows he was lying when he said those things. So, Lady Moon Webs, Witsit used your with an apostrophe R instead of your while you are. I'm not gonna nitpick that. It's a wall of text. He doesn't know how to paragraph. At least he has sentences. But he, it's poorly structured. Yep. He types like a child. At least he mostly gets spelling right, but he's doing it in something with a spell check anyway. So anyway, let's see. How were the books from John Hopkins, says Buck Sodbuster? They're right over there. I started reading the one on steampunk particle physics. Pretty good. I'm partway through that one. So yes, thank you for that. Are you the one that sent them, Buck Sodbuster, or are you just aware of that? So to the person, I don't want to. If your name is not out there, I don't want to say your name to tie you to anybody, because the last thing you want is a Flatty knocking on your door. I see spin. 4% of people are trolls. The other 4% are liars. That only adds to 8. Busload UK, that's a cool name, says Flurfers struggle with selling merch like t-shirts because they keep getting their heads stuck in the armholes. Icy Spin says Witsit doesn't understand how photos work. Quick clip to your Discord timestamp. Okay. All right. I've not been watching Ozean because I've been on vacation. So still catching up with a lot of stuff. All right, here's the timestamp.
How does a photographic plate detect the photon, Oakley?
So you're asking me how photographs work? You're telling me that you don't appreciate that a photographic plate can have an iris open and let light onto it?
You don't even know how it works.
So you're telling me I don't know how it works?
It's funny. This is so funny. Like, okay. Nathan is not stupid. I just want to point this out right here. I think Nathan's sort of a genius. Now, I know he believes in the flat earth, but by golly, he understands these concepts and can break them down.
This he has it like on point.
Yeah.
Okay. Buck Sodbuster says, I cannot confirm or deny, but I know the name of the guy was something to do with a Swedish rock band. Thank you. That confirms it for me. Thanks a lot, Buck Sodbuster. I appreciate those books and the extra effort you went through to get them to me. Yes, I brought all three of them on the trip to Florida and Texas, and they made it back. So I had them on the bookshelf behind me. They're down in the corner right now. So Ace SW says on Quora, a few flurfs just say they're not there to convince you, but to preach their own opinion and refuse to back up claims as usual. Well, yeah. When they debate, especially, they have different debate tactics on different echo chambers that they come from. The Discord based echo chambers are typically never make a claim, always try to push it on the Globers. That's their tactic, right? They know, and that's an admission that they know that the Earth is not flat, right? Because if they knew the Earth was flat, then they'd have the evidence, and then they'd show you the evidence. But it's all super aggressive deflection. And Oakley does that, but it's a whole different way of doing it. And so the Oakley acolytes have their same techniques. So like Flatsoid, Flatsoid reviewed a debate I did on Modern Day Debate. He reviewed that. And I gave the way using the globe geometry to predict sunset time. And then I said, how do flatties predict the sunset time? You don't have anything. So he's reviewing that, right? I had already shown how it's done using the globe. And he's watching that. And instead of saying, as a normal person would say that had a position based on evidence, wait a second, this is how you do it. Here you go. Or I know it's possible. I'm not, up on it right now, but this, let me point you in the direction of it. None of that. It was, he said it's a burden of proof reversal. No, it's not. I had already shown how it works for the globe. So if you say the Earth is flat, then you have the burden of proof to provide these things for your backing your claim. So that's the typical, everything is a try to push it back on them. So if you watch the debate with McGlobey and McGlobeface and Witsit, that was the same thing. Globey was, saying this is a globe versus flat debate. You are holding up the position of flat. You have the burden of proof to show measurements of flatness. Witsit said, here are my measurements, and then didn't give any measurements. He said some things, referenced some things, none of them were measurements. He said, he talked about planar surveying. He misinterpreted how planar surveying works. Right on screen, he made a declaration how he thought it works. That's not how it works. So, for those wondering, 45 minutes to start time. So, So yeah, so that's the way they do it. It's all this reversal of the burden. So, all right, let's see if we've got any a decent results from the poll. We've got 196 votes. Wow, there's 278 of you here. So this is interesting. Does space equal heaven? I'll end the poll right now. And 13% said yes. So 13% of 197. So somewhere over, what, 25 people said space is heaven. That's interesting. So of those of you who said space equals heaven, did you take that to mean literal, or did you take that to be figurative? How is it that you, so I'm asking you in the live chat, how is it that you that voted yes think that space equals heaven? Because I don't. I don't think that when considering religion and the spiritual realm, I don't think that space is heaven. That doesn't make sense to me. Space is just 100 kilometers that direction, and beyond, and so and the distance between here and the moon, except for that first 100 kilometers, is where space is. So yeah, Icy Spin, any of the 13 percenters want to plead their case, please do. Just why did you vote that? Dave McKeegan, of course space is heaven, because in space nobody can hear flurfs. Absolutely. Oh, Rich 901 says now targeting 8:25 a.m. Central Time for liftoff. Ah, they pushed it back again. Everyday Astronaut hasn't updated that yet, but I suppose he will. Digger Evans Model Railway. Digger Model, that's pretty cool. Says, Dave, that's heavenly at least. Yep. So do all dogs go to space? Well, a couple. Anyway, I don't get any. I'm not getting any. Let's see. Effed Up World. He said any version should work. Come on. All right, Joe. I'm asking you. Well, I guess I already know from you. Shifty Eye Shady says, when did I say any of that didn't exist or beyond human comprehension? You seem to imagine what I'm saying. So what did Flatty say to, I don't know. Joe Hill says the Bible's the most legendary book ever written, standing the test of time while being mocked by those who don't believe it. Well, say when people interpret it weirdly, it's gonna get mocked. Don't interpret it weirdly, maybe. Anyway, all right. I'm not gonna take apart that conversation. So I'm waiting for any of the 13% to say why, to explain why. I don't see that. So last launch party was a fail, right? Boom, boom, knock on wood. Well, it depends. So when they do these launches, they have goals. They know that it's unlikely to be 100%. So they put goals, they stack them up at the beginning, and they say, well, here's what we want to do, and here's kind of the weighted preference of them. So with launch 1, they're like, I hope we don't destroy everything. Well, they destroyed a little, so not everything. So check. They wanted to try to launch it and get it up in the air and see how those engines worked lifting the rocket. They got that, check. I don't know what the specific lists were. So they had successes. So how do you measure a successful launch? 50% of the high priority, 75% of the high priority items? I don't know. Everybody might have a little different view of what they would consider success. But I think if you get most, you get it, if the big ones, I think that's pretty good. So then Starship Launch 2, IFT-2 was was, I think it checked off more items than number one did. It didn't damage the launch pad. I think they had like some nominal things that they had to address, but for the most part, it didn't do a whole bunch of damage like the first one did. They got separation. They got the second stage to, fire up and start, accelerate laterally. So success there. The explosion of the after the separation of the first stage was that they were hoping to get it to at least come down and do like a soft landing on the water. So they didn't get that part of it, but they got the separation. They got the second stage moving. I don't know. So that part of it was a success. They didn't meet all of their goals. So what do you call that? I don't know. It was a boom, which is always kind of fun. So this one, what are their goals? Well, yeah, they're looking for more. They want to get that separation. I would say for this to be a success, they would need to have the first stage do some sort of a boost back and get close to a soft landing, right? Ideally, what they're trying to do is they're trying to have it come down, boost when it's shortly above the water in the Gulf of Mexico, and then as if it's going to land on something, and then turn off the boosters, and then drop into the water. So that's kind of the, I think that's the measure for success. If they do that, I'll say this is a success. The second part, then they want to have the second stage go into like a suborbit. I think, go around once or twice. I don't remember the exact thing. I think they've changed a little bit what they're wanting to do and talking about going into the Indian Ocean with it. The second launch, they were talking about landing near Hawaii. So this is a different spot that they want to land. It's going to be in water. So Icy Spin sent some goals. So goals of today's launch. There it is. Well, thank you for that. Let's see what they say here. And if go away. Okay. They're going to try launch again. Hope to avoid exploding. I think no explosion, success. How about that? Let's see. First Starship most successful uncrewed orbital test. Yeah, that's what it has to do before it can, you can have people in it. The first, the second, yes, hopes to launch the rocket on Friday morning local Central Time. Though that launch will be pushed back. So it's Thursday right now. Okay, Starship is back and stacked. What time will it launch? Launch postponed. I don't see the goals here. It's just kind of a general. I don't know. What am I, yeah, it's not too informative. So, all right, let's see. Do they have, there it is. Okay. So that said 37 is when they're going to start their 52. They moved it back to 52. All right. Oh, B Dazzle sent me a message. Nathan Thompson is now hanging out on TikTok. Oh, he avoids me too, just like Witsit. Well, I'm not going to go in right now. But so if last night, so yesterday, okay, this was funny. A little inside baseball if you're interested. Witsit was on, like he is so much of the time. He was on Discord. He's often on the Earth Awakenings server, a Discord server who's run by a guy called Geo. And Witsit and Dan the Waterman, they don't get along. so Witsit and Dan were both in there, and they started arguing like instantly when they started clashing right away. And Witsit was talking, using the word coping, and Geo for some reason was like, Witsit, you can't be talking like that. And so Witsit then had a breakdown because you know, Geo wasn't supporting him, and since Witsit is a massive narcissist, he needs the validation, and he wasn't getting it. So like, let's see here. I got some got some screenshots. Let's see. Yeah, here, I'll show you this. I happened to, I just by chance, I went in there because I was going to ask if anybody could find why you are an idiot. Why you are an idiot is the first person I debated, the first flat I debated. And that 5-year anniversary is coming up next month. So I was hoping to maybe find him and debate again, but he's gone. His Discord account is no longer active, or it's deleted or something. Anyway, I went in there because I was going to ask people, but this is what I found was Witsit having a breakdown and crying about everything. So he's like, somebody's asking, can you link the Chinese footage? Because he was talking about Chinese something footage. He goes, yeah, second, I think I've decided to actually leave the server. Multiple people attacking me, and I use the word coping, GTFO. Oh, poor Witsy's going to take all his toys and leave. I'll start my own. And Maestro's like, I mean, it's a little mean. So Witsit didn't get the validation he needed there. And Geo, this is the server owner, says, do what you feels right, but I will not allow you to insult and attack people any longer. He said that to Witsit. Geo, you're not supposed to say that to Witsit. You're supposed to make him feel good. Geo. You're supposed to make him feel good. Oh, you love seeing the receipts. Dude, I got the whole thing. So I scrolled back, I got all of it. You know, I can show you one at a time. There you go. They're not necessarily in order. I think they're generally in order because I took the screenshots in order. Yeah. I'll start my own. So yeah, here. I mean, receipts are important, aren't they? You gotta have all the information if you're gonna make a claim about something. I mean, flatties don't get this. If you're gonna make a claim, you should have the evidence. They never have the evidence. There it is. So yes, I mean, all I did was I went and I screenshotted the history of the conversation. There it is. 2 more. 1 more. There you go. So then I just collected together all of the times that he said he was going to leave. 7 times. He's like, I have decided to actually leave the server. I'll start my own. Is that the 7th? Yeah, a separate time. So you can see those top 2 on the right there, 1:02 p.m. and 1:04 p.m. 1:06 p.m. I'm just gonna leave. At 1:32, I'm leaving. And somebody hearted the comment. At 1:36, I'm disengaging. At 1:51, I'm just gonna have to delete this, lol. So you know what he didn't do? He didn't leave the server. But he was going to. So he'd actually contacted Demon's Stride on the Medicinal Mass Media Discord server, asking if he could host the Schooling Globers on Medicinal Mass Media server last night. Demon's Stride said it wasn't certain which day it was going to be. So not necessarily that it was going to be last night. So I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. I can be there. So I got in, I jumped into the live chat, and I didn't say much. I was doing other things. I just mostly had myself muted. And DMOC was in there doing the normal making embarrassing flat earthers that he does. So, but then Witsit didn't do it. Instead, he went back to the server that he said 7 times he was leaving and starting his own. And he was on there for a while. I don't know if he did. I have no clue if he did schooling Globers last night at all. I don't know what he did on that server. I wasn't there. I was doing other stuff. All I did was I noted that he was on there. So there's the inside baseball and some of the receipts for it. Witsit having a meltdown there. But now I got to close all these tabs. Got too many tabs open. All right, you can watch them all in reverse. Once I delete enough of them, I can see the X button before I even switch to the tab. You can't close the tab if you're not on it yet, because the tabs are too... There it is. Now I can do them all. Closing them all. Okay. So 7:52 is the current time. Start time and 10 minutes from now. So the current start time for the video, is that right? Now it's reloaded. Now it's loading. So, all right. Dora Nku is here live. Lucky. Someday, Dora, you got to join a live stream. Says, Happy Pi Day. Fact, 75% of pie looks like Pac-Man. You don't get that. Too bad for you. Thank you, Dora. Crypto Roast says, I think we should all entirely ignore Witsit until he addresses the Mesos launch, which he hand waved away when Globy presented it to him. The problem is we can't ignore him, right? Because he will be doing debates on Modern Day Debate. James isn't going to ignore him. Go convince James to ignore him. He won't. James should, I would think, James should say, hey, let's see that debate between you and MC Toon that you challenged. But I don't think James will. James just wants to put on a show. I get it. I won't fault him for that. Merrick Zions is a member at Newton. Welcome, Merrick. You've been a member before, I think, but and I have practiced saying your name, at least your last name, Zions. I hope that's correct. Dora says, middle click on the tab to close it. Oh, wait, Mac only has 2 buttons. You're right. Middle click. You must be on Linux, because Windows does. I suppose it could. I mean, I have a Logitech mouse. I think that Microsoft. I have a Microsoft keyboard. This is the best keyboard ever. If Microsoft could focus on what they're good at, I think they could pull through. Right? If they just focused on human input devices, mice, keyboards, joysticks, I think that them as a company could be a decent company. But instead they focus on things that they suck at, like writing an operating system or doing email. It's too bad. Icy Spin, Apple Magic Mouse is a single click. Oh, the heresy. So the Magic Mouse, it doesn't have a separate areas that physically move. The whole thing clicks. The entire body clicks. But the side that you're pressing on, it's sensitive to the pressure. So it does have a right click. I have a Magic Mouse. But they don't last. For some reason, they really kind of sucked in quality. The ones with wires, I never purchased a wireless one. And it's got the tiny little trackball, which I liked because it did side to side pretty nicely. Where these does this one? Oh yeah, you do a left right click on the wheel, and that does your left right movement. I don't like that as much. So Dora says, haven't I told you I use Linux? That is impossible. Of course I use Linux. Well, GNU Linux, since Linux is just a kernel, but most of the user land is GNU with a bit of BSD. I figured you did, but I mean, I use Linux. Everything that all the code that I write runs on Linux, but I don't use it as my workstation. So I didn't know if you used it as your workstation or not. And so yeah, I've been doing a little work on Solaris lately. Not everything I runs on Linux. Some runs on Solaris, and Solaris is just their built-in utilities suck. So Solaris's find utility is terrible. So you have to use the GNU one, and if it's not there, you have to install it. So a couple servers I've had to install it because I've been using GNU, find. So Genius Icy Spin says, I think I may have had the older one almost fully transparent to my memory. Oh, they did have the hockey puck mouse. That was the worst mouse ever, right? You could not tell which way was up. It was just a circle. It wasn't ergonomic, so it didn't fit in your hand, right? It was shorter and it was flat, and and it had a single click, and so the trick was, if you ever found yourself on one of them, the two side there's translucent, so there's the color portion plastic clicked on, so you could actually remove them, and so then you at least had a little tactical feel on which way was up, and that was what you had to do in order to feel which way was up. But yeah, it was only a single click, and so you had to hold down the control on the keyboard to get a right click. So Icy Spin, find dot dash n blur of evidence, empty results. Absolutely. Quick poll, size of everyone's first hard drive. Mine 20 megabyte Seagate. A first hard drive. Jeez. Mine was right in the vicinity there, and I upgraded it to a little larger. And then I bought an external 5 1/4 full height SCSI enclosure hard drive with 300 meg on it, 370 I think. It was I bought it from a friend. He had spray painted the case black. It had already been scratched off, and it looked terrible. Yep, SCSI. Absolutely. Right now, I have 3 12 terabyte Seagates in a JBOD, so 36 terabytes, and 6.5 terabytes available. So there you go. Andrew, all right. Best keyboard, he says, is the Logitech MX Keys. Well, let's see. If it's not split, then I'm not interested. Wait a second.
How does a photograph?
Hold on. That I didn't copy. That didn't copyright. Hold on. Stop it. There you go. It put Ozians in there. There we go. Logitech keys. Ah, it's a rectangle? No, thank you. I like the ergonomic keyboards. They never leave me bored. Logitech makes pretty good stuff. See, that's okay. I might take that guy. Let's see. This I don't like. I don't like these wave keys. It's not ergonomic enough. Oh, that's fun. The old school circular. So my grandma had an old typewriter with the circle keys, and she was really good at typing. I would watch her type, and she's it's hard to press those keys, and she was good at it. So there you go. It's got the inverted T for the arrow keys. I could use that one. I could use that one. What's this? The MX Vertical? Man. All right. All right. Nothing. No. See, I don't know. I don't know if that's it for me, but I like the clickety clack feedback. That's nice unless you have people near you. They don't like it. I don't mind, but I worked for a while. While there was some construction in our building, we were in temporary offices where it was rather a small office, and we had desks that were not just back to back. They were overlapping. They're kind of triangular desks a little bit, and so the one overlapped the other. So like our monitors were almost like right next to each other, facing the other direction. And he had a noisy keyboard. I did not mind it. I never bothered me at all. But I think some people didn't like it. But there's just the two of us in that room, so it didn't matter. So all right, this is interesting. The Sun Express is currently developing Hyperland and PCI pass-through for GPUs on FreeBSD. The nerdery, Titicaca is vast. That is some pretty serious stuff. That's pretty low level to do PCI pass-through for GPUs on FreeBSD. That's nuance there. Stephen Jarvis says just a bit for what you do. Keep going at Witsit. Thank you. Witsit, seriously, if you're going to say the things that he said, right? If you're going to say this, you better be ready to back it up. He can't. We know he can't. So, and yeah, the thing that he tried to present the other day from Life is Short from 5 years ago with Globy McGlobeface, yeah, that was nonsense. And so that I'm planning to do a scripted video on that one. So, yep. So thank you. I will. I mean, he's low hanging fruit. Witsit is low hanging fruit. The pompous and arrogance from him, and yet can provide exactly nothing. It's unavoidable that he's just constantly shoving his foot in his mouth, right? He has no evidence for anything in an actual debate with Globy McGlobeface. He said his religion quote thing.
What do you mean by religion?
A belief system built upon the doctrine of men void of empirical verifiable evidence.
That he said that in a debate, a 4-hour debate, where after that he never provided verifiable, empirical verifiable evidence. The irony, right? And he's not even bright enough to realize that he didn't provide anything. Just saying planar surveying isn't actually a measurement. That's all he did. All right. Vipe for 10 euros says, probably first time catching you live, usually in the middle of the night. You are on. Tenor for support and for hours of entertainment I've received. Well, thank you very much, Vipe. I appreciate that. I'm glad to provide it. It makes me happy. So I appreciate that. Let's see. So that's what noise canceling headphones are for. Yeah, when you have a loud keyboard, they are. I think that the loud clicking probably would still leak through those ear headphones. I've never owned noise canceling headphones. I've used them at work at times. I've borrowed the over the ear ones, Bose ones from people, and it's too much at work in the office because of what I do when I'm in the office. People are coming by to talk to me, and so if I'm not, well, where I am now, I can see when people walk in, but in the past they could come up behind me and I wouldn't know. And so I didn't like that. I like to be able to hear when somebody comes in and starts talking to me. So, but yeah, that would be, if it bothered me. It doesn't bother me, but I would definitely, I've used them and they're pretty cool. if I was in a noisy environment that bothered me, I would use them more. So Icy Spin says, hit the like button for space's sake, people. All right, let's get an update here. Let's see if this live stream has started. It has. So this is Alan
views of each
SpaceX.com.
Raptor engine burning during that ascent, which is something awesome because we don't get to see that with Falcon and its Merlin engines.
Now, next, Starship executed a successful hot stage separation, powering down all but
Sounds like they're talking about the previous one here.
igniting the 6-second stage Raptor engines before the vehicle separated. This is the first time this technique has been done successfully with a vehicle of this size and scale.
Following separation, the Super Heavy booster successfully performed its flip maneuver and initiated the boost back burn. However, about 30 seconds into that burn,
boom.
it experienced
The
a
boom was
rapid
pretty fun.
unscheduled disassembly, or RUD. That's SpaceX speak for an exciting end to the booster's journey. The likely cause was determined to be filter.
So, Flatties, so that particular one is crazy because Flatties claim it hit the firmament, even though it was falling. Like it wasn't going up anymore, it was going down. And it wasn't that high, and the other part of it kept going and it was higher. So how dumb can you be to think that it hit the firmament while going down? Very dumb is the answer.
Everything was going normally in the ship's climb to space until about 7 minutes into the flight, when we began a planned vent of excess liquid oxygen propellant. To simulate the mass of a payload and get future-focused data, the ship was loaded with extra propellant that we needed to get rid of or vent before re-entry. Once we started venting, though, a leak developed that caused fires, which eventually cut the connection between the flight computers on the ship, and that caused the 6 Raptor engines to shut down before we had finished the full burn. That was detected as a mission rule violation by the Autonomous Flight Safety System, which triggered the flight termination system and led to vehicle breakup.
Starship's second flight test nearly completed its full duration burn. It ended at an altitude of about 150 kilometers and a velocity of 24,000 kilometers per hour, officially making it the first Starship to reach outer space. Like the booster, we've made upgrades to Starship's upper stage based on Flight 2 learnings, such as improved leak reduction, fire protection, and changing the operations to increase reliability.
Now, back at the launch site, the new water-cooled flame deflector and other pad upgrades performed as expected, so the pad required minimal post-launch rework. And that's a big reason why we are ready to fly again today. The ground support systems are designed for rapid turnaround of the launch pad between flights, and the improvements we've made ahead of Flight 3 are getting us closer to that goal. And that brings us to today's test. The test profile and the burn timeline are very similar to test number 2, with one major difference. The ship will attempt to splash down in the Indian Ocean rather than the Pacific. This puts us on a steeper trajectory than past flights and lets us test capabilities that we'll need for the future, like lighting a Raptor in space while maximizing public safety. So let's take a closer look at the flight test profile. Now, about 26 minutes from now, Super Heavy will ignite its 33 Raptor engines and lift off from Starbase. About 3 minutes into the flight, Super Heavy's booster will separate from the ship in SpaceX's second ever attempt at a hot stage separation. That means it'll light its engines while still attached to a partially lit booster. The ship's engines will then remain lit for about 6 minutes during the ascent before entering a coast phase.
Next, the booster will perform a flip maneuver and execute a boost back burn, which, if you recall, is where Flight 2 Super Heavy experienced a rapid unscheduled disassembly. We're hoping hardware upgrades made for this flight will get the booster closer to executing a landing burn in the Gulf of Mexico. In the meantime, Starship will coast for about 30 minutes at altitudes between 150 and 235 kilometers, and the ship will attempt to fire a single Raptor engine for our first ever relight of a Raptor engine in space. And from there, the ship will head toward its destination, splashdown location in the Indian Ocean. Again, if we get past...
Okay. So, Lubo in China says, are you sure it didn't go up? It still has some inertia. I'm saying that it was going down based on secondhand information. So maybe it was still going up, but it had already mostly been moving sideways, and it was doing the boost back. So it could be, but it certainly wasn't very high. and it wasn't as high as hundreds of other launches that people have seen in person from Florida and and elsewhere. I personally saw one from Florida. I got them talking in my one ear. I personally saw one from Florida myself, and you know, it went higher than that. So the firmament must be a variable height. By day, by different days, it must be a different height somehow. All right. Icy Spin says, I didn't see the projected path ending in the Bermuda Triangle. Okay. So this is
other data to continue iterating and ultimately improve Starship.
That's exactly right. The primary goal for Flight 1 was to clear the pad, and we did that and got a lot of great data that helped us improve.
Yeah, it is. Okay. The thing about
that you see today. The primary
thing
goal
about
of Flight
X
2 was
is
to get all the way to stage separation,
unless they
which we
change
did, and
something,
even
there's
got
no,
a little
like,
extra.
live
For Flight
chat.
3, we've added some ambitious tests highlighting.
There is. Oh, there it is. Okay. Live chat limited by broadcaster.
Engine in space and the opening and closing of Starship's
they
payload
do
door.
have it.
When
So,
Starship takes astronauts
X
to the
is,
lunar
they've
surface
been
as part
trying
of
to
NASA's
get,
Artemis program,
some
it will be
equivalent
refilled in
to,
space by a Starship tanker
to
spacecraft
YouTube
before boosting
and
itself
their
into
live
a
stream.
lunar
So it
orbit,
looks like there
like you see here.
there is now
Transferring
the
a large
ability
amount of
to
cryogenic
do that. I
liquid
don't-
in
I've
space
thought
has
about
never been
dual
done by
streaming to,
anyone, ever. So
X
we'll be
as
looking
well.
to get data on some of the
I've thought about
fundamental
sending
physics
it.
in play
You know, I
here,
can get
like
restreamed
managing
and send it off
pressures,
to,
temperatures,
Facebook as well.
propellant settling, all as we
So-
prepare for eventual ship-to-ship
Mark W, we need to get
transfers.
Sifu
The
Snow
ability
to
to
explain what's
refill
going on
starships
here.
once
That would be
in
an
orbit will be
amazing live
critical
feed.
for landing
Well, I
on the
invited
moon
Jared.
and is a
Well, there
key
it is.
technology
I'm
for
just rolling
enabling
up at
deep
live
space
stream ready in
exploration
4
and
hours.
ultimately flight
What's it
to Mars.
supposed to do? Go up
Now,
and come
we're
back.
also attempting the first ever
Yes.
relight of a Raptor engine in space, and we'll need that capability for future in-space maneuvers and deorbit burns.
This isn't
It's
nearly
important
as
to note
interesting
that what we'll attempt
as
today
having a
is
live stream,
not
so,
a burn required for Starship to re-enter on today's test.
see, I
We
can
are
go full
intentionally
screen,
flying this new
which will-
steeper trajectory so we can test things like engine
which
relights
fills
without
my entire
substantially
screen, so you're just seeing
changing
a
where
portion
we
of my
expect to
screen.
splash down.
That doesn't-
And if
that
Starship
doesn't
manages
work.
to make it all the way to re-entry, we will collect
can't, like,
valuable data
like, you know,
on
on-
the
on,
vehicle as it flies through the
Facebook
Earth's
or on
atmosphere
YouTube here, I
at
can go from
hypersonic
this view
speeds,
to
or more than
default view.
5 times the speed
Right,
of
and then I
sound.
can show
We
the
expect it to
chat.
look
So
something
this
like
is-
this
this is
animation
nice.
on your screen with the heat shield tiles facing down. We'll
but
use the
on-
Earth's
on
atmosphere
X, like, I
to
can't
break
make
the
it
vehicle and
take up more room
then
and
get
get
us
rid of
into
that
a controllable
chat,
regime
optional
as we
chat.
go towards
So
splashdown.
got a little bit
and we
of
did
just little
validate
things
Starship's
to work
ability
on.
to
Maybe-
fly
maybe you
inland
can,
at
and I'm
subsonic
missing
speeds
something.
during our suborbital flights
report
several
the
years ago,
broadcast. I don't
and
know
gathering
about that.
data on the aspects like heating and
1080?
vehicle control while we're traveling
One of
way
the problems with
faster
X was
will
it was
become
only
critical
720.
to eventually
That's good.
bringing starships
You
back
can do
from
picture
space
in
for
picture,
rapid
it'll bring it
reuse.
down to the bottom. I
We'll
don't know.
also attempt to open and
Got a
close
few-
Starship's
got
payload
some-
door for the
some
very
features
first
to
time,
fill out
a
there.
capability that we'll need when Starship starts
I know I'm
flying
talking
our
over
next
them.
generation.
I'll turn off the audio. All right, I'll go back to this one. Pause. I can't pause this. There, okay. And I'll play it there. But without audio.
To Starbase. I'm coming to
In a
you
minute.
from the Raptor's Nest, where I'm here with some of our flight controllers, also our Pad Red team. We're just behind the Mega Bay. Those are super heavy boosters right behind me, getting ready for the next 4 flights after.
Okay, I won't try to talk over them.
Down has been pretty clean so far. We're not tracking any issues that are gating us on the hardware side and the vehicle side from that on-time liftoff at 8:25 a.m. Central Time. That's our T0 right now.
8:25, about 20 minutes from now.
Range. The other big watch item today is going to be the winds. The winds have started to pick up. We're still looking to be below our limits, but there could be a hold at T-minus 40 seconds just to make sure that the winds are acceptable before we go. We are actively loading propellant on board the vehicle. You can see by the frost lines starting to build up. Looks like we're about 80% on the ship main tanks right now and a little over 60% on the booster. Now, Starship uses liquid methane as its fuel, liquid oxygen as its oxidizer. Both of those get cooled down to cryogenic temperatures, so several hundred degrees below zero. And if you followed along with our previous 2 flight tests, the prop load timeline today looks a little bit different. Those first flight tests, it took us about 90 minutes to load all of the prop on board. But since the second flight, we made some pretty significant upgrades to make that time shorter. We added some additional fuel and LOX pumps just to increase our capacity. We expanded the number of heat exchangers and installed a dedicated fill drain line for each stage. But they were sharing one before, now they each have their own. That's just that main pathway to get the propellant to the vehicle.
Forgive Toon, he's new to streaming. Hang on. Oh, precious. Horizons View says word salad. You wanna know how to get Witsit? You accuse him of word salad. He will cry and cry and cry. Oh yeah, it's a good. Let's see here. Let's see if I can zoom in. That works. I don't like to do that because it makes everything else bigger in that window a little weirdly, but that'd work if I needed to there. If there's no reason to view it there, so I'll stick with this one.
Systems improve the efficiency of the rocket. But right now we're just about to pass 18 minutes away from launch. Winds again, they're still looking a little bit marginal, so we'll keep an eye on those. We're not working any other technical issues, and the range is expected to be green. If we can't make our test today, we have backup launch opportunities in the coming days. Could be 24 to 48 hours, all just depends on how far we get into the count. So check back in with everybody in just a little bit. For now, though, I'm going to send it back to Kate and Shiva out at Hawthorne.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay. Icy Spin, you should pre-schedule a live analysis of Jaren when he watches this back for sneaky jump cuts. So Jaren is Jaren said he's gonna do, what do you say? I'm messaging him right now. So he said just what's it supposed to, hold on, live stream ready in 4 hours. So he's doing a live stream in 4 hours. So I don't, yeah. So the thing is, Jaren is better at evidence and better at research than a lot of other flighties. But a lot of flighties, they'll watch one live stream. That's it. They'll just watch one and say, well, there was a jump cut, therefore, but not watch the multiple other opportunities done by amateurs that have live streams that are not, it's just a single camera, right? So ignoring those doesn't look good for you. It looks bad for you if you say, well, that was faked because of the jump cut on one presentation. So Jaren isn't better than a germ. I don't know. Have you seen the Varda reentry video? It's incredible. I have not. But we have 15 minutes if you wanna send it, and we can watch it quick. Man, all those engines. It's just overkill. There's so, not overkill. It's the right amount, but it's just it's so massive. 33 engines plus another 6 in the top. So 42 engines. Crazy. Jump cut doesn't know how TV works in America. Yeah. Jaren did prove the globe. And his one experiment completely matches the globe. I don't know. He's going to do another experiment. He's, something a lot of people don't do, so he's going to go do it. Will he stick with the results? Will he accept the results? Hopefully. Horizon's View says he may do the research, but he ignores the evidence like every other flat earther. Well, yeah. Yep. Celtic Hammer says 33 engines. I know. If it wasn't driven by more engineering than mockery, I would say it's mockery. But there's, because, you know, I intentionally look the, just so you know, the timeout here in the live chat is 33 seconds. I always set it to 33 seconds. I will modify it and put it back so you can see. There it is. Slow mode. Slow mode. I'll put it to the default of 60 seconds. You all see that now, right? Slow mode is on. And I'll put it back to the normal slow mode speed. I always set this speed. You don't see it, but I always set this to be 33 seconds. Just to poke at them. So, okay. We've got 13 minutes to go. Varda capsule reentry, full video from Leo to Earth. Okay. Let's grab that. Is this, I take this is the YouTube to search for. Okay, I need to do that. Okay. Okay, 2 weeks ago. It's 27 minutes long. It's a bit long. So let's see here. Oh, from Leo, from low Earth orbit to Earth. So this is on the way down. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to jump ahead to, all right. Oh, dear. Poor flatties. The curve of the Earth. I mean, all they can say is fake. That's their only response from this. Right? They don't have, they can't say anything other than fake to this. I've not watched this, but I'm not seeing distortion in the lens. So, all right. Yeah, and once it starts, I take it this might be pointing, I don't know what angle, yeah, there it's looking up. So this is the plasma. Wow. Looks like it's on a parachute now. Maybe, or was this, did they bounce to burn some burn some velocity, because it was looking a little plasma-y here, right? But now it's not. So, all right, let's look again. That kind of wobble looks like a parachute. I don't know. This is pretty. Oh yeah. So here we see a parachute in a minute. There's a parachute looking up. There it is. And you know what floaties, what Flurfs always ask for is, all right, thank you for that. That's all I'm going to show right now. What they always ask for, they want to see a full uncut video from ground to orbit. You give it to them, they're like, nuh-uh, because they exist. And they move the goalposts. They're like, we want to see it pointing up from the ground to space. That would be, they would call that fake too, because when it's on the ground, you're looking up, if there's no clouds, all you see is blue sky, right? And then you'd see, even when it's shaking, you wouldn't see anything, right? You might see, because during the launch, it's shaking all over the place for a bit. You wouldn't see anything. It'd just be blue sky. And then when you got to space, you'd see it slowly getting darker and darker and darker until it was just black. And if it was only pointing, if the exposure wasn't ruined because it was looking at something bright, you would eventually see stars. But they would just go from blue to darker blue to darker blue to black to stars. That's all you'd see but of course they need to go horizontally to attain orbit, so it would see the Earth in part of it. So you'd never see the stars because the exposure wouldn't allow you to. So, oh, okay. So the video also resolves Witsit's claim that you cannot see stars in space. You can see stars in that video in the Varda reentry. Okay, thank you for that. All right. Hold on a second. Icy Spin. This was debunked, set up in an Arctic igloo facing an 8K LED 32,000 unique color NASA TV. Yep, that would be necessary, I suppose. Okay, let's hear what they have to say.
That we need through every phase of flight.
9
And that
minutes.
data informs future missions and gets us to that future where starships are being recovered and rapidly reflown.
Our teams are also working on the ground systems that will support rapid reusability. When we
Exciting
start
yet.
recovering Starship,
Let's see what Tim Dodd says. He has go. There it is. 9 minutes. Okay, let's hear him. I like Tim.
Orbital shirt. everydayastronaut.com/shop. Pick up some awesome merch for yourselves, including our new pointy end up, flaming end down shirt. We also have new Mars hats back in stock. We have our Falcon 9 rockets.
He's talking about merch again.
Falcon 9 rockets. Go ahead and do that. And Spencer, I don't know if we can get the shop in here. The ISS coupon.
All right. Jared. I said to Jared, 9 minutes. He goes, I'm so excited I peed a little. Thanks, Jared. Oh, he's funny. He's good for laughs. All right. Man, this is, come on. It's 8:15 here. 8:17. It doesn't matter what you're this is exciting. This is cool. Even even for Flatty, it's crazy to not see how intense this is. This is the biggest rocket ever built. It's a skyscraper. It's a skyscraper made of metal, and it's portable. And it's tons of stuff that goes exploding if you don't handle it right. It's crazy. Icy Spin would have been nice to coincide this with the eclipse. Oh, that would be too much. That'd be too much. Joe Black says, don't forget to get your Joe Black merch. Yes, definitely. Whoever Joe Black is. Joe Black, let's get your merch. I'll get your merch on here. Hold on. I'll pull up your merch. Do you have any? There it is. There's Joe Black's 795 subscribers. I have no idea who Joe Black is. But there it is. There's Joe Black's merch coming up. Don't forget to get your Joe Black merch. There you go. There you go. That's a lot of I have no idea who he is. Don't take me seriously right now. Joe Black, the Lord of Blackness, 795 subscribers, 118 videos. I think he has more merch than videos. There you go. Looks like he's, are you like a First Amendment auditor, Joe Black? I don't know. All right. Enough promoting him. I should, you know what? Here, I'll do this. I'll get my actual merch up. See if there it is. Okay. Here's my actual merch. Go. We'll take that one out. There it is. So if you want, you can get with Santos's wisdom. Where it's never drink the first bit, never drink the last bit, drink the middle. There it is. It's got him on it. You can buy the 11 ounce or the 15 ounce. You can get the Toonies mug. Here it is. It's Toonies. They don't have like the 3D version of it, just the zoom in. So there's that. Or the Toonies shirt. So I haven't done a whole lot yet, but there you go. If you want that, I'll drop that in the chat if you want to get some merch. I'm going to be doing some. I think I'm going to do for April a special one-time thing, because April's my 5-year anniversary of debating flatties. So I think I might make a couple April only things. So anyway, I didn't notice the collector's pigs and cows mug. Got any hoodies? I don't. That's not a hoodie version yet, is it? But I will tell you what. I was gonna be working on this like soon, so I'll do that. I will put in some more designs, some hoodies. I have myself a Toonies hoodie like this from Teespring, and the ink is coming off. So I'm like, well, I don't want to wear it a lot and then have to wash it off, a whole bunch, and then the ink comes off. Because I got a 0th episode of the SC Toon Show t-shirt and sweatshirt, and the sweatshirt ink is 100% gone. There's nothing left. It's just a nice black sweatshirt, nothing else. So where is the book merchandise? Oh, I know. This is the stuff you forgot to get people. Oh yeah. All right. We are in the final 3 minutes. Let's go back to this one.
That's where we're at today.
And like we talked about, we have some really ambitious goals for today's test. But really, the point of today's test is to try to get as much data as we can so we can inform the next iteration of the design of Starship, work those things into flight test number 4 and new objectives there that'll eventually get us to that glorious, rapid, reusable future that we so badly want.
Yeah, for Flight 1, we wanted to clear the pad, and we did. For Flight 2, we wanted to get through hot staging separation, and we did. So today, we want to get even further than that and collect as much data as we possibly can. So with all that being said, we're going to check back in with Dan to take us through the final 2 minutes of terminal count.
All right, we are under 2 minutes away. We have closed out the prop load on the booster and on the ship. And we're starting to hear some good news that it looks like winds are not going to hold us up, so there's a good chance we blow right through that 40-second hold. So we're about 1 minute and 20 seconds away. Just walking you through one last time, we're going to see the engines ignite about 4 seconds before we hit our T0. They're going to ignite in 3 different banks. You'll get 13 of the inners, 15 of the outers, and then the last 5 ignite just 2 minutes before T0. And then after that, the quick disconnect will retract. The engines will start to throttle up, and then we'll see liftoff about 1.5 seconds after T0. So we're under 1 minute away. Don't be shocked if we hold at 40 seconds before, but it sounds like the winds are cooperating today. And we'll be able to move right past that, not tracking any other technical issues that could hold us.
Proceeding past our QD vent gate.
There it is, solved.
Through the
minute and a half.
gate past that 40-second hold.
All right, this is exciting.
Flight Director Ty Huntington telling the team we are go for launch. So 20 seconds to go. Let's listen in.
It's T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's so much fun. It's going. camera. That looks like a GoPro. I mean, it's gonna explode.
30 seconds into flight, we are feeling the rumble. We are seeing 33 out of 33 Raptor engines ignited on the Super Heavy booster.
Booster and ship, avionics, power, and telemetry nominal.
I like how they stagger the starts of the rockets. Oh,
continuing to get good call outs. Our trajectory looking nominal, systems looking nominal. Just amazing to see all 33 lit up once again.
Look at the cloud, the table of clouds.
At this point, we've already passed through max Q, that maximum dynamic pressure, and passing supersonic. So we're now moving faster than the speed of sound.
Oh, that's crazy.
Getting those onboard views from the ship cameras.
There it is.
Now the next major milestone is going to be a hot staging maneuver. Again, we're going to be doing that in just about 90 seconds. To do that, we're going to shut down all but the 3 center Raptor engines on Super Heavy. That'll be our MECO, our most engines cut off.
The dew point.
And then the clamps holding the 2 stages together are going to release. Starship's second stage will ignite its engines, the RVACs first, the sea levels right after that. The sea level engines will be splayed or just kind of pointed out at about a 15-degree angle. So if you look close and we get good tracking, you might be able to see those center right after.
What do you think? What do you think, puppy?
And so those 6 engines will push Starship off of the booster.
Oh, I said the word. All right, Flatties, cry. Those engines are fueled
counting
by
down now.
not
We're going to be
methane,
coming up
by
right at around the 3-minute mark on that hot staging maneuver. Again, we'll see the booster engines start to shut down. You'll see all but 3 lights go out in the middle, and then we'll see the engines ignite on ship, pushing it away. And that will start carrying the ship into space.
No boom coming
Booster
up here.
will start to do its flip and then move into the boost back burn, setting it up for eventual splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
Stage separation.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that went well. No boom yet. It was about to boom last time.
Hot staging confirmed.
There it is.
Booster's now making its way back, seeing 6 engines ignited on ship. Kate, we got a Starship on its way to space and a booster on the way back to the Gulf.
Oh man, I need a moment to pick my jaw up from the floor because these views are just stunning. These are live views from Starship.
Regardless of the camera,
first stage is currently performing the
power
and telemetry nominal. Good there news informing us that the second stage of the ship, everything looking good, nominal there. First stage is currently performing the boost back burn, expecting that to last about 1 minute. That boost back burn. That boost back burn propels the booster back towards the coast, taking it to a landing in the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. We're only using the Super Heavy booster's 13 center engines from here on out. As whenever they relight, you'll be able to see that in the left bottom corner. Those are the ones that can gimbal. In other words, they move and change direction in order to change the thrust to steer the first stage back to Earth.
The outside engines cannot relight.
Wow, these are just incredible views coming to us.
They don't have the extra hardware to do it. It's more
Everything
weight.
is looking good for both the first stage on the left-hand side of your screen or the Super Heavy booster,
so I think
as well as on the right-hand
camera
side of your screen. That is Starship, or we also refer to that as the ship.
That's too curved there, and the curve.
The boost back burn was the first of 2 burns required to return it to Earth. The next one will be the landing burn, where all 13 center engines will initially ignite and then transition into a 3-engine burn to help slow it down. Now, just as a reminder of the Stage 1 test objectives, we're looking for controlled ascent, which we have so far. Stage separation, which, gorgeous, we cruised right through it, as well as
on a nominal trajectory.
Good news there telling us that the path that Starship is on is good. Now, Starship's second stage is still firing its engines, and as you heard, following planned flight path, The ship objectives, we're looking for hot staging. Again, cruised right through that. We're looking to demonstrate controlled ascent as well as orbital insertion. Now, the bottom right-hand corner of the screen shows the ship engine graphics, so be sure to keep an eye on those.
Yep, Kate, this is just a phenomenal test so far. Super Heavy is performing beautifully today. It's on its return leg of the journey. Ship continuing to burn its 6 engines, those larger circles, the Raptor vacuum engines, the inner circles,
kilometers per hour,
the Raptor sea level engines.
Kilometers elevation.
And
the other one is
about
going
30
down
seconds away.
Oh, they're moving
just under 30 seconds away from the start of the boost back burn. The landing burn on the booster. You can see the grid fins rotating. Those hypersonic grid fins are guiding us through the atmosphere back towards our splashdown site. Again, we're going for a for a splashdown, a soft splashdown. So for landing burn, we're going to expect to see the 13 center engines light, rapidly bring down the booster's velocity, and then just the 3 in the center.
there's no rockets going yet. Oh my goodness.
Let's see if that'll work.
It's wobbling all over the place. Nope. How's that looking good?
We're getting a few engines.
It's gonna hit hard.
And acquisition of signal. We'll see if we can get some other video of that. Now, this is a test objective today. It is still something that we're attempting to learn. And to make it that far, to demonstrate the controlled re-entry up to that point is pretty darn good. Ship continuing to look nominal with its ascent burn. This burn lasting about 6 minutes total.
On the right, this lens looks like it's not a GoPro.
And we're expecting that this burn will end just after T+8 minutes, about a minute from now. So far, though, I mean, congrats to the team. Making it this far is farther than we've gone on Flight 2. Just wonderful views and great engine performance from the vehicles.
Yeah, so
far we've hit controlled ascent. We're in the middle of that right now. We demonstrated the hot staging. Kate, as you said, cruised through that. We demonstrated controlled entry of the booster. Just dropped a little short of the engine relight, but hey, that's something we can learn for the next one.
Yeah. Now that view that we just had moments ago was a live shot of Star Command. There you see it again. This is our mission control center at Starbase, where vehicle operators are standing by. Now the next milestone coming up is in less than a minute. At that point, ship will, or I'm sorry, actually it already has.
Starship engine cut off.
There we go.
Okay.
As you heard there, by the call out and from the crowd behind us.
They're excited because it turned off the engines.
Successfully shut down. We heard a call out for nominal orbital insertion, which is incredible. Look at these views, Dan.
So they're going to relight an engine, which they've not yet done in space.
Just completely blown away right now. What a day. Congratulations to the entire SpaceX team. I mean, this flight pretty much just started, but we're farther than we've ever been before. We've got a Starship not just in space, but on its coast phase into space. Just to recap where we've come, and it's only been 9.5 minutes. How has it only been 9.5 minutes? We lifted off right on time at 8:25 a.m. We didn't have to hold at our gate at all. We had 33 of 33 Raptor engines open up.
Nominal insertion, every nerd's dream.
And another successful hot stage. All 6 engines on the ship propelling us into orbit.
Oh, yeah.
We did see what looked like a nominal boost back burn. And then we did make it all the way to the landing burn this time. Didn't light all the engines that we expected, and we did lose the booster. We'll have to go through the data to figure out exactly what happened, obviously. So be on the lookout for information about that. But wow, a ship in space. We've got a bunch of, as we said, ambitious objectives ahead of us over the next couple of minutes and pretty much over the next hour, where we're going to really, we've got the ship in space. We're now going to take advantage of this and try and learn as much as possible about some of the other systems, including that first ever Raptor relight in space. So it's just going to be incredible. So all of that still to come. The mission just started, but wow, what a liftoff! What a hot stage! What an amazing.
Okay, so yeah, so when I talk over it, my voice is not too high. So okay, I turn myself up a little, and so if I do talk over them, maybe I won't be lost.
The next about 30 minutes or so, we'll be back around the T plus 40 minute mark. And that'll be Starship continuing to coast, hit those ambitious test objectives, and then continue on to re-entry. We're not totally sure what video that we'll get, since that normally comes to us as we overfly ground stations, and we don't have a ton of those along our trajectory. But as we have video, we'll be sure to bring that to you.
Starlink may be able to bring us additional communication paths today that will allow us to talk to Starship through re-entry with no communications blackout period. It's a possibility, but either way, we will be live for all of today's milestones. And of course, when we do have views,
signal, Puerto Rico,
especially like the ones that we have now, which I just cannot get over, when we have views, we will be sure to bring those to you live. But no views.
All right, so even though that the curve there is slight, there is a curve. I can see the curve. So it's not a perfectly rectilinear lens. There's no such thing as a perfect rectilinear lens, but that is still showing some curve, the correct direction. The corners of the edges there gets to be a little more distortion there. So anyway, that's pretty cool. Someone should get hold of the current weather radar images to compare cloud cover at launch to compare this footage. Says Dr. Jim, the geologist. Of course, but Flatty's claim somehow magically that with zero evidence, so it's a religious claim, that people are generating fake cloud views from high elevation based on cameras from low elevation. Apparently that's their claim, their religious claim, because there's no evidence for it. So I didn't. I just played that. All right, I'm gonna mute this. So okay. So again, it's they make a claim with no verifiable empirical evidence.
What do you mean by religion? A belief system built upon the doctrine of men, void of empirical verifiable evidence.
So when Flatties claim that people are generating them, they're making a religious claim. That's their religion. So anyway, so not certain exactly when they're going to come back in with some more information. But in the meantime, I got a couple messages from the live chat. Icy Spin said lift off for $2, and then said for $2 for $1.99, which was that on an iPhone? And then for $2 exactly said Flurf tears are oh so sweet. Also from Icy Spin. Well, thank you for that. Cole Averial says, I've built a Yagi UDA antenna myself to receive live weather photos from satellites in my backyard. The Flatties never have an answer for that. No. That's a really good one, because there's nothing they can do. There's no answer for that. They don't have an answer. You can stand there in your backyard with a directional antenna and point it up and get a live view of the clouds for the surface of the earth from above, from something. What is it that you're receiving it from? They don't have an answer. They can only assert their religious position. Card Picker says, one day you might figure it out. It's a waste of time, a distraction, big toys, nothing else. Really? Well, then you're going to have a lot of explaining to do, Card Picker. A lot of explaining to do. Icy Spin says to Keith Milner, yeah, it's fun to make predictions as to what they will say to move the goalposts. Yeah, so Last time, they claimed that it hit the firmament. It did not do that this time. It went higher than it did last time, and no explosion at elevation. So now what? They have to unclaim the things that they said before. What they said before now have been shown to be lies. All of these, if anybody's talking about the firmament, they have some sort of a religious position about flat Earth. And typically religions don't have kind things to say about liars, yet there they are lying. So if you claimed before that it hit the firmament, now you were made to be a liar. Right? You have failed your own religion. So this looks like live views in the inside the booster here. Let's see. They just have some music going over it. So that is pretty cool. So they ran the boosters there for up until 8 minutes after launch, or somewhere around there, but before they turned it off. So this is the inside of the tank, I'm guessing, where that used to be filled with liquid oxygen or liquid methane. They had this cam last launch. They did too, I think. They might have. I don't know. This is pretty cool because if it's especially if it's liquid oxygen, because liquid oxygen is pretty. Liquid methane too, but liquid oxygen is pretty cool when it's liquid. It doesn't like being liquid at normal temperatures. And it acts differently. Its viscosity is different. So yet another piece of evidence for the globe heads flatties still using the A drive. Yeah, look at that, 215 kilometer elevation. That's the altitude. Where's the firmament, flatties? How high is the firmament? Right? Of course, you can only claim this is fake. That's all you can do. Oh, what's this view? Oh, that might have been a frame dropout. They also flatties don't understand video. They don't understand UDP type transmission. The things they don't understand is significant. So Stringers wants us pictures of the firmament or it never happened. Yep. Card Picker says if you blow up, they'll just be like, oh, oops, sorry, then it's done. Nobody will care. But Card Picker, they'll come back again later and do another launch and it won't blow up, making you the liar. Right? So Card Picker, explain this. How did this happen? Thousands of people watched it launch live. The last one, Astronomy Live, was in the Florida Keys, got video of the second stage flying by. How did that happen? So Penguin wants to go. Poor puppy. She might hear people moving around in the house. So, all right. What? You're okay. It's fine. It's fine. UDP, they don't even understand ICMP. So when you're doing video or live streaming video over the internet, if you miss data, if data doesn't get sent, it's too late. You don't have a chance to resend the data because you've already missed your opportunity to present that live data to the viewer. So you don't worry about retransmission. So UDP is if you've ever heard TCP/IP, where data is sent over the internet, TCP is a transmission control protocol that will resend packets that are not received. UDP is different than that. If a packet does not make it, it does not try to resend it, and that's because live events don't matter because you don't need to replay events that happen in the background. You missed some data. Too bad. You need to present the data to the viewer or to the recipient. So it doesn't matter. So when like ISS live feeds, that's the type of transmission. I'm guessing they're not using UDP, but they're sending a live transmission of a MPEG compressed video. and MPEG and other video compression formats. You send a keyframe, which is all of the frame, and then you send just changes, right? So you send change. And so if you miss the changes, then you go on the keyframe and you just keep applying what you can to it, and it messes things up. So that's where you see some of these live streams from the ISS where you get these artifacts going on. Like if they're faking it, if they're not in space, why would you have any of that? You wouldn't. So the fact that these things happen is evidence that they are in space. And you can see here, yeah, you see these differences in these big kind of squarish updates every once in a while. Like on the screen, there's these squares of things that aren't as smooth as they are right now. That's because of missing data. So when it recombines the data, it does the algorithm does the best it can to recompose the data. Still just music going there. Industrial Nerd says the industrial term for liquid oxygen is LOX. Yeah, I know that, but I'm not trying to use jargon, right? I don't expect my audience to have to know the jargon for it. But yeah, LOX, they I suppose people know that well enough, maybe. The Sun Express says, imagine the cargo cult that will emerge should any part of Starship wash ashore on North Sentinel Island. Yes. Let's see. I'll make sure that is that the one in yeah, it's in India. So North Sentinel Island is that it's protected, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think what you're talking about is that protected island where it's there people there that are not westernized at all. They have very little or no contact. It's not, you're not supposed to go there. And they have killed people that have gone there, if I remember correctly. So yeah, if any parts of Starship break up and go there and wash up on the island, then yeah, that would be crazy. But if all goes as planned, I don't think they'll be very close to it. So wouldn't expect a whole lot of potential wash up there. I see spin. Imagine if the Empire State Building washed up on the shore of Ellis Island. Card picker, your tears are delicious. Let's see. Hey, by all means, have fun in a giant phallic rocket. Are you so sad? Does it hurt you in the feels that you have to lash out at people like that? Did you have some issues growing up that you act like this? Card picker, is that it? Did you have a bad relationship with your family growing up? Right? Some unhealthy relationships. Yeah, everybody has unhealthy relationships, but it looks like you have allowed yours to surface now and lash out at people. Right? It was a rocket that went to space. You degrade it by using those types of terminology. It shows a problem for you, not a problem for the rocket that just successfully went to space. Right? Am I a psychiatrist now? Well, I've seen right through you, haven't I? Right? Tell me I'm wrong. Right? Did you have lots of healthy relationships with your parents, with your family? Or did you have problems? I don't know. I don't know a whole lot. I'm certainly doing a lot of conjecture, but I've met enough flatties and heard enough about their family relationships from relatives to see a pattern. In fact, just this week, I won't reveal who, but just this week I had a conversation with a relative of a flatty. This person needed to get things off their chest. I was happy to help, and a lot of information about the psychology of that person growing up. And it matches. Oh, you're wrong. Okay, got it. Certainly. Your parents, you had a healthy relationship with your parents and still do, and a healthy relationship with your family, and at family events, you don't cause an issue with all of your flatty beliefs. That they're all like, oh, that's awesome, I'm so glad for you. No, that's not what happens. That's not what happens. I know that's not what happens. Card picker. So he's not a flat earther. He's an electric universe proponent. Oh, got it. You'll find out, he says. For how many years have people been saying you'll find out? Right? A long time. A long time. So when will we find out? When will the actual information, when will the measurements of flatness or whatever you think the earth is, when will the empirical evidence supporting your religious belief system show up? Never. If it existed, you'd post it right now to embarrass me, but you don't. The reason why is because you don't have any. So, veiled threats and hollow promises. Yep. Watch Thunderfoot. I don't know. Rocket just went to space. Thunderfoot is certainly not a fan of Musk or SpaceX, but is Thunderfoot claiming that this did not just happen? I don't know. He certainly has criticisms, but I don't think that his criticisms include it didn't happen. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't pay attention to that much to Thunderfoot. So let's see. They keep showing little clips of it there. It's just a tease. So Hammer says, I think Flat Earth is back to the drawing board now. They've never left the drawing board. That's the thing about Flat Earth, right? You say, well, where's the map? They show you the map and you test it. They're like, oh, we don't have a map. And they're like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And you're like, well, explain to how does this work in your flat Earth model? And then you hear this.
We don't have a model.
Yeah, you don't have a model. The reason why you don't have a model is because every time you try something, you propose something, it's tested and falsified instantly. What one thing about flat Earth has not been falsified? One thing. Just give me one thing that has not been falsified, and we'll look at it. It has been falsified. So Basic Info says they never made it to the drawing board. They're still drooling in their chairs, staring at the board. Yeah. Let's see. Amber says if Elon Musk will spell out S3XY for his Tesla models, I don't think phallic references for the rocket is too far off the mark. Well, every rocket since before Elon was born has the same basic shape. So I don't know, 1940s, it's the same profile as the rockets from the 1940s. It's no different. Celtic Hammer says card picker is card sharp smart. I don't know what that. Yeah, he tried to Model X. He tried the Model X for sexy, but Ford showed the patent, so he had to do the Model 3 S3XY. I don't know. I don't know. Well, what did Joe Hill get here? Joe, where'd he go? Somebody gave him an amen. I want to see what he said that elicited the amen. He said Zechariah saw Leo thousands of years ago. Level Earth Observer? Okay. And that got an amen from Henry Thrun. Oh, I know Henry. How you doing, Henry? Yeah, so Henry, F'd Up World's a flat earther. He lives near us. Maybe we can meet him someday. Henry is in Minneapolis area too. So Failzoids Flurfspectives says, personally, I doubt the Flurfs are sat there drooling in their chairs. I mean, it's pretty bold of us to assume they know how to use a chair. Low Earth orbit equals Leo. Yes, I know. I know you meant that. I was messing with you a little bit. All right. So, there's a little view from the outside with bits of probably frozen oxygen flying away in all different directions. You're gonna claim they're bubbles, flatties. They if it's bubbles in a pool, they would go one direction. But they're going out all different directions. So they said somewhere around 40 minutes. So they're still just doing music. I mean, I want to see this. I want to see this landing here, the next part of it. So, Card Picker, what's your explanation for what's on screen right now? Says Icy Spin. A great question. What is your explanation for it, Card Picker? You have an actual explanation, or do you just have lies? So, just lies, I'm sure. So there. Oh, look at that. There's some update issues with the data transmission there. So this is a rocket in space sending data back to the surface. So before Starlink, it would have to send the data to a receiver on the ground. Or before satellites, it would have to send it to a receiver on the ground. And there aren't receivers on the ground everywhere. So it would have to pick different receivers and send it to them based on where it was. So this is still, it's a challenge because you don't get an opportunity to send to the ground. So then now they have Starlink, and so Starlink can receive the video, and then that can transmit it back to the ground because Starlink is designed so that it can always get data to the ground somehow by either sending it directly or by sending it to a neighboring satellite to relay back to the ground. So then, but I don't know how much of Starlink they're using on this. This lens looks pretty rectilinear. There you go. More data loss. Shaliitis is watching MC2 and has helped me stay connected to my brother who died last year and was a flurf. Thank you for all you do. Wish he had watched your videos instead of the flurf nonsense. Well, thank you for that Shali. Yeah. Man. Yeah, relatives. I don't super often get contacted by relatives, but I have multiple times got contacted by relatives saying, here's a little background on my relative. So Icy Spin, cut live feed, dynamic cloud generation sequence starting. The fact that there is data loss is evidence that it's in space, right? If this was being faked, there would be no data loss, right? That they would just hit play on the pre-recorded video. But they're not. They did not hit play on a pre-recorded video. There are errors and dropouts, as would be expected from something that's in space that doesn't have a wired connection to the where it's sending it from. So Shifty Eyes says, I heard stories of relationships being broken over FE Globe debate. From a psychological perspective, it's extremely interesting. Well, yes, there have been. There have been. And if you watched the video of that I covered of Tyler Oliveira, I think I got that right. When he went to the convention at the Flat Earth Dave's invite, he talked to a lady who had gotten divorced because of it. So, yeah, it rarely, in my experiences, rarely do interpersonal relationships survive a flat earther, because it tends to become everything that they are. It overtakes their personality, it overtakes their lives, and they can't keep those relationships going a lot of the time. So not always. Celtic Hammer says this is a fun day for Witsit. Why? Why? Card Picker. Card Picker is trying to, he says, I have 3 credit cards maxed out so I can make rockets. Oh, wait, that's Elon. Ha ha, how many billions did he lose recently? I don't know. He still has more money than you. That's not a refutation of what's going on here, Card Picker. That's a deflection of what's going on here. There's a rocket in space. There's a live view of it. You can't address the topic. So let's see here. Somebody's saying Witsit is trying to address his running away from there. Okay. Did Austin? Oh, there. Austin has commented on my YouTube or my Facebook. Excellent. I'll have to get some screenshots of that. So yeah, if you want to have a chat with Witsit, go find my Facebook. He's been commenting apparently on my Facebook post about him running away from the debate challenge he issued at me. So Richie Ruggs for $10. Would Karen B's in the ISS cause unsolvable problems? Naughty, very naughty. All right, Amber says, my biggest criticism with trying to deconvert flat earthers is that it won't improve their lives. They're still conspiracy theorists and will just latch to something else. There are a few examples that are known about flat earthers that have left flat earth. That before flat earth, or I don't know if before, but during flat earth, they were into all the conspiracies. They generally are. Because in order to get to flat earth, you have to go through all of those. You have to accept all of these other things. Ranty, he's, to my knowledge, he had let go of most of the other conspiracy stuff. Seek Truth, Speak Truth, when he had first exited flat earth, was still into conspiracy stuff, but over time he has gotten away from those things and saw how the thinking, it's your mindset, it's how you analyze things. They're talking. Let's hear what they say.
Of our ascent burns and collect as much data as possible, including a potential Starship entry. And we just came out of a coast phase and we're treated to a number of HD views thanks to...
Okay, so let me finish that thought. On Ranty, Seek Truth, Speak Truth, eventually, because of the mindset of the conspiracy theorist, brings them to flat Earth, and when you break that, you start seeing that these other mindset things that they had, the ways that they thought about stuff, was wrong. So they have done that. They've disconnected from some of the conspiracy stuff, I think, but you could be right. I mean, I don't know. They go through all these conspiracies, they get to flat Earth, and then they undo from flat Earth and they just go back to where they were the day before flat Earth. I don't know if that's the process. I think it's this whole house of cards falls apart. Maybe not. But yeah, it's, I think the thing is, that they didn't become damaged individuals when they got to flat Earth. They had those problems before. The guy I spoke to this week, their relative that is a flat earther had many psychological issues before. Whether or not he is a flat earther won't change those things. Those psychological issues are still there. The terrible, unhealthy, abusive relationships are still there. The behavior is still there. So their flat earth belief system won't change that. Right? I think I don't think that Flat Earth makes them like that generally. I think it pushes them farther, but I think generally Flat Earth is a gill net for dumb people and psychologically damaged people. Not always, an absolute case, but anyway, what did you miss, Diver Dan Navy vet? You missed the launch. It's in the coast phase right now. They're talking about what they're going to do next. So they're going to light. The plan is that they're going to relight at least one of the engines. I think the plan is just one of the engines, and then have it come down and land in the ocean. So anyway, they get bogged down cherry picking Einstein papers while ignoring sunsets. Chip Bauer says, yeah, Witsit does not want to talk about flat Earth. Never wants to talk about flat Earth. He knows he can't provide evidence for it. So he avoids it. And the way that he avoids it is by trying to talk about other stuff. So he tries to talk about relativity, something he doesn't understand at all, but instead just goes to cherry pick quotes and misunderstand things about it. Ignoring other stuff, right? Witsit continues to claim that Einstein, Witsit claims Einstein did not have any evidence for the Earth orbiting the sun, but Einstein specifically mentions it, which Witsit blindly, blatantly, intentionally ignores. Right? He has to, because he's built his position on this lie. He can't undo that lie. So. Which came first, Flat Earth or Michael Jackson and Elvis play concerts in an underground city? Well, the conspiracy mindset has been there for a long time, and these people, for no reason, will accept something, some claim. They'll say that this person faked their own death. Why? Because they don't like the alternative. I don't like I don't like that certain things have happened either, but they happened. You have to accept that they happened. So, okay, let's hear what they have to say. I want to see if they have a schedule coming up.
Leave a wake or a hole in the plasma field as it flies through an atmosphere. You can think of a wake kind of like when you see a boat going through the ocean. It sort of leaves a trail behind it. There's some of those great views from...
Oh, that's real. That's different.
From Starlink, giving us views of Starship's onboard videos. And so we're hoping that the Starlink on board will let us, just like we're seeing these videos now, see through that plasma field by maintaining a continuous communication lock with the satellites on orbit through the wake that Starship leaves behind. Now, this is only the second time that we're testing Starlink during re-entry. So even though we do have these great visuals now, don't be surprised if we manage to get some signal hiccups through. We're still learning about what that wake will actually look like in practice and whether we're able to get that live continuous high-speed data during re-entry.
Yeah, that's right. Crazy. And one of the really primary reasons we want to use Starlink is to just gather as much data as possible. It's been said the data is the payload on one of these flights, where we're putting this flight hardware in a real flight environment, trying to learn about it as much as possible. Re-entry is going to be a really critical phase of flight. We really want to know how the ship's going to perform, especially that heat shield as we're going through the hypersonic re-entry. So if something were to go wrong during this re-entry, we want as many paths as possible to collect that information, that data, just to, again, just continually feed back into the Starship program to make each flight more reliable, more successful.
Acquisition signal, Mauritius.
So it would, if they were going to fake this, they wouldn't fake it in real time. They'd pre-fake it and then just hit play. And then you wouldn't have data loss.
Atmosphere at hypersonic speeds, meaning more than 5, or at this point, will be more than 5 times the speed of sound. Now we're watching these live views, HD views by the looks of it, thanks to Starlink. You can see that the flaps there on the ship might be actuating.
So you're seeing chunks of stuff flying around. That's probably ice.
visions of planet Earth behind Starship. Now, we've already validated Starship's ability to fly and land at subsonic speeds. You might recall those suborbital flights from a few years ago, and we can see those flaps there.
That's pretty cool.
So getting data on aspects like heating and control while traveling way faster than we did before is going to be critical to eventually bringing starships back from space for rapid reuse.
Look at the speed.
So I mentioned those flaps. That's one of the things that enables Starship
26,000 kilometers per hour.
Heat of reentry, which, like we said before, we're expecting that reentry to occur around T plus 49 minutes. So we're getting pretty close here.
And what you're seeing here, it looks like the vehicle is sort of moving back and forth. Part of what you're also seeing is one of the cameras, this onboard view that we have, is on the end of a flap. Starship has front flaps and rear flaps in the vehicle. So we've got 4 of those. And, oh man, we can see the heating on those flaps as we're starting to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. This is where the Earth's atmosphere is doing the work to slow us down.
Now, like we said, this plasma field is, wow, what a view. We hope to maintain these views throughout. Starship is so big that we're hoping that the plasma field doesn't entirely blanket the entire vehicle. Right now, it is not. The Starlinks are
Views brought to you by Starlink.
Yeah, the Starlinks are still communicating and still capturing the data and the video that we see here.
That's a tough thing.
I mean,
a bunch of data
Shiva, this
to get
is
out.
just absolutely incredible views. We've never seen anything like this before. This is the biggest flying object ever in space.
Absolutely, Kate. And it's important to note, with the ascent burn that we did was to get us to orbital velocities, even though we were on a nearly orbital trajectory. So the heating and the loads that Starship is going through right
elevation
now are what it would be getting if it were recovering from an orbital mission. And just the fact that we have views through entry, this is incredible.
Yeah. Again, this is the furthest and fastest that Starship has ever
that camera's not happy. The camera's getting close.
You can definitely tell by the crowd here in Hawthorne.
The heat shield tiles doing their work. We talked about it earlier. Up to 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit that those heat shield tiles are dissipating as
the camera exposure is compensating for the super brightness.
Or rather, the key mission objectives that we were hoping to hit today, we have never, like I said before, this is the fastest and furthest that Starship has ever flown. So this is the first time that we're getting to collect this.
It's losing speed now, finally.
These 18,000 hexagonal heat shield tiles are working together to protect the belly of Starship as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. Once again, the atmosphere is doing us a big favor here by... The atmosphere is actually doing us a huge favor here by acting as a braking system for Starship as it re-enters the atmosphere.
And that's part of the reason why the flaps are so important. We're using the body of Starship and the drag from the atmosphere to slow us down from orbital speed. But you want the vehicle to remain stable. You want those heat shield tiles pointed down so they can absorb the heat of the Earth's atmosphere. And so that's the purpose that they are serving during the hypersonic phase and then again during the subsonic phase.
Absolutely. So like we said, these views are being provided by a couple Starlink terminals that are positioned on Starship itself. As that plasma builds, we're hoping that we can bring these views back to you, but you can see the telemetry there on the right-hand side of your screen.
Still.
If you watch closely, you can see the speed decelerating. Again, that's the friction of the atmosphere resulting in this plasma field, or excuse me, the blanket that is potentially blocking the Starlink terminals right now. So we'll bring those views back to you if we get them. But right now, for those of you that have recently joined, Starship is currently re-entering Earth's atmosphere. This is super exciting because it's the furthest and fastest that Starship
Switching
has
to
ever
the baked
flown.
potato
It's
camera.
just absolutely incredible. Major test milestone, something we wanted to accomplish on Flight 2, getting to it today. So just awesome.
Oh, the telemetry
Now,
data
we actually have some heat shields here. So these are what's doing all the work on Starship right now. There are 18,000 hexagonal heat shields like these. So this one that I have is flat, like this is what would be positioned on the flaps of Starship, whereas Shiva has something a little different.
Yeah, the one I have would be on the curved surfaces of Starship. I'll just put it in frame here. So we've got these attached at various points around the vehicle. Like you said, Kate, 18,000 of these tiles around, and they're doing the work to make sure that the structure of the vehicle doesn't carry all that.
So watch the telemetry data there, because the video isn't getting out. It could be the camera died because it got cooked, or it could be that it just can't output the data. But if the telemetry data is not updating, then they're not receiving data from the rocket. And they said the data is the payload, and so they want to get that data out. And if it hits the ground too fast, or hits the water too fast, then they won't be able to recover the data. I don't know if they would do they try to write the data to something on this, in the actual rocket, so that when it hits the ground, they can go recover that black box airplane style? Or are they only able to get the data that comes out of it live? So I don't know. So 25,707 kilometers per hour, 65 kilometers elevation is the last update, and it's been a while. So what's going on? Yeah, the telemetry stopped at some point. They'll say it's hit the ground, hit the water, or they'll come back to actually having data. So they're John Blues, I hear the bees have a pending lawsuit against humanity. What did Jeebus got? What did Jeebus say? What? I don't think that Jeebus is saying anything. But still no telemetry. Oh yeah, or it disintegrated in the atmosphere. It could have. Richie Ruggs. Yep. Yeah, this is not a good situation. It looks like either it blew up in the atmosphere, or it hit the ground, hit the surface at Rudd velocity. Lewin says they usually have 3 to 5 data recording systems, black boxes. I do know they have 2 memory SSD systems and 1 steel ribbon data box. Oh, all right. Let's see what.
Now we're still waiting to see if we're going to get data back from this ship. We might be in a bit of a blackout period right now, so still waiting to hear the status on it. But yeah, we got to the actual entry portion of today. We started into peak heating, which was just a really big milestone. Starship is pretty unique in the way that it re-enters, especially for something reusable. The closest parallel has been the space shuttle. When we're comparing Starship to like when we bring a Falcon 9 booster back, we're talking about 20 times the energy given the velocity that we're moving at, and all of that energy just gets converted into heat, and then we need to use those tiles to just help dissipate that heat. They're not ablative like you would see on something like Dragon, which uses an ablative in the capsule shape. So they are these tiles that are made to be
ablative means it gets used and you can't reuse it
during heating. All of that is just really hugely valuable. Where Starship is really unique is, and Kate and Shiva have talked about it a couple of times, is once we're through this kind of hypersonic section and we get down to the subsonic, and that's where we really learned a lot and proved that Starship's really just its basic shape could work. And we did that during the suborbital campaign. Again, if you compare it to the shuttle, which entered, it had the wings, it had a similar heat shield system, but it had wings, and then was almost flown like a glider once it re-entered and was down to those subsonic speeds. With Starship, we're not doing that. We're just coming straight down. We'll hit terminal velocity, which with Starship is around 200 miles an hour, and then we use a flip maneuver to ignite those engines, do a landing burn, and then touch down on the ground. So you don't need a runway, we're doing that, again, designed because when we go to the moon, when we go to Mars, there's not going to be a runway there for us. And so that propulsive
animation
landing
of it.
Is going to be really important. This is an animation of pretty
We
much
saw
what we were just
from the
watching
camera.
on actual Starship video, which is pretty incredible. But we go through peak heating. One of the benefits of today's trajectory, actually, we got closer to what the heating profile will be on just a normal mission when you compare it to our previous flights, which were headed out to Hawaii. So we go through peak heating, and then we hit subsonic, and then Starship splashes down in the ocean.
So I did not see that they had reignited one of the engines. Maybe they did, and I didn't see it because there was a bunch of time there, and it only would have updated by the icon on the screen. So, but that was the plan. They were going to try to relight that. So if it came down into air without doing that, then that potentially would be a indication of something was not what they had planned. But certainly it got into the atmosphere. The fins had started doing their maneuvering and stuff. We saw some of the air going around it, doing what it's supposed to do. Oh, they decided to skip the reignite. They said that. Okay, good. I wasn't listening to all of it, so that's good to hear. Rather than they tried and failed, I guess deciding not to is a better thing. This is a new engine that hasn't been actually relit in space yet. So, it's cool. It would have been cool to see video of the ground where it was coming down, but it was in the middle of the ocean planned, so there would not be anybody sitting around there waiting with the camera on the ground to in the right spot to see it. So this is one of their early test lands. This wasn't this wasn't today. So card picker, he's what a sad life. What a sad life card picker has. So I'm waiting for, I don't know how much longer we need to wait. Obviously there has been no telemetry update for a while. So it hasn't gone well. So something happened. So I don't know. Gibberish. He says he doesn't understand how technological advancement works. No, clearly not. Yeah, is the Falcon 9 program a failure? Is a good question from Tom B to Card Picker. Of course, it had all of the same types of experiences. I had a few more failures than this. So my guess is that Starship will have less failures in the process than the original Falcon 9 did, because Falcon 9, this was very new to them. Now they've successfully landed several times, so that's about all they've learned a lot. And so the landing was of the first stage obviously did not go well. A lot of the I don't know if it did not relight the engines successfully. It looked like it was trying to, but it might not have. So again, relighting an engine is a challenge, and this is a new engine that they haven't done relighting at velocity before. So anyway, I don't know if there's a whole lot more. So fewer failures. MC Doing Live, use my language correctly, please. Fewer failures. Use my language correctly. Hey, I speak American. All right. I wonder if they would classify this flight as a success. Well, it depends on what their primary goals were, and then secondary goals. I talked about that earlier. So they did successfully get it up. They did do a successful orbital or suborbital, whatever terminology, insertion. They did successfully separate. They did successfully do a boost back burn. They did not do a soft landing of the first stage, and they did not do a re-entry of the second stage. It looks like so. All right.
No, we're not there just yet, but we saw that plasma field building up around the exterior, which can blanket the entire vehicle, as it does with all of our Dragon missions, and we're at a loss for telemetry at that point in time.
Yeah.
So
Dan's seen a lot of those with Dragon missions that he's supported.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, they're pausing there. Oh.
It did look like we lost Starlink and our TDRS data flow at the exact same time. Now, if both of those signals are cutting out at the exact same time, that could mean we lost the ship. It has been several minutes since we've gotten any data from Starship. We are waiting just a couple more minutes just to see if we can get any additional confirmation, but that is one data point that we're tracking, and that could indicate that we had a loss or a breakup of the ship during that re-entry. So might not make it all the way to splashdown today, but we were able to get through the early phases of re-entry, hit some of that peak heating, which was just really incredible to see a Starship coming back from space after getting all those views from space for the very first time. So we'll just keep on listening in on the loops here, see if we hear anything over the next couple of minutes. And that might bring a close to a pretty successful day so far. So again, we did lose the TDRS. That's the tracking and data relay satellite. That's the satellite system that pretty much every spacecraft operating in orbit right now will use to get data. We were able to get some signal through that. And then we were also getting data back through Starlink.
Okay. Well, that... I mean, they're still hoping, but I think they're just optimistically speaking. I don't think that there's a chance that it did the landing that they were hoping for. But we'll find out more data later. You know, sometimes it takes a bit for them to process it. I don't think that they're going to do anything live. So, I see Spin says, does it have an onboard emergency backup automation system to continue on its assigned path? I as far as I know, everything was automated. You know, they would send, potentially they can send it. They say, do this, do this, do this. But when it does that, then it's autonomous until another command is sent. So anyway, I am going to call it there for today. I'm going to say I enjoyed it. I would say this was, you know, from what I would figure that is their primary goals, they did that. So awesome. It did not explode. There was no, none of those. So there won't have to be the same type of review of it as they have had to do in the past. So hopefully then they can do a quicker turnaround. So the last launch was November, December, January, February, and March. That was 4 months ago. Before that, it was April to November. So can we get it again in 3 months or 2 months or 1 month? That would be fantastic. Do it again in April. Awesome. Maybe they can. I mean, they have the hardware ready to go. So can I finish off using Smo's accent? No, he doesn't have an accent. He has multiple accents. So anyway, people, thank you very much for joining me on watching this. Is that a shadow? Look at it. It's a shadow. Like, what's this shadow right here? Is it? Hold on. No, it's, yep. Anyway, I'm like, is there something on my face? So anyway, thank you everybody for joining. This will end this transmission of the Toon Show. Thank you very much for joining, and I'll be looking out for next week. I've booked Tuesday night. I booked something, maybe coming Friday. I don't know. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll see. Everybody take care. We'll see you later. Here we go.
MC Toon, drop that beat.
All right, let it flow. Let yourself go. So I know that is the tempo.
So yeah, let's do this.
Let's do this. Yo, it's MC Toon, the debunking tycoon. I shatter flat earthers, make them face the moon. Your attempts are decent, but they'll swoon in the face of my logic like a deflated balloon.
Oh, MC Toon, the one to soon cartoons. I'm the real sage, and they thirst to their views. Your theories are like old brews, sweeping ignorance or just spreading the views.
FDFE stands for fumbling the facts evidently. I drop truth bombs so splendidly. Your approach is soft, mine's unrelenting. I bring the science while you're just venting.
Multi-tuned with a finger with silver spoon. I've had some pseudoscience make them change their tune. You're the sidekick, I'm the room. When it comes to debunking, I'm the room.
But hey, FTFE, we share the creed to educate and debunk the plant the seed. Though in this rap, it's clear indeed I've got the upper hand in word and deed.
All right, hold on a second. The Zoom call died. Everything died. No.